Hello. It's like nearly 80 degrees a few days ago, and I saw some snow flurries outside. Huh? Kentucky has 4 perfect seasons, and at the end of March, there's always this last stranglehold to hold on to winter by the environment. It always kind of happens. It'll be warm again in like 2 days, technically. Before getting into this video, a lot of folks from the UK watch. I hear from them all the time. Once again, of course, I read every comment. It's kind of amazing. There's this fish and chips store. It's called the Golden Chippy in Greenwich in southeast London. And they've been ordered, their mascot outside is this like human fish or something, and it's holding the Union Jack flag, you know, the flag of the UK. And they've been ordered to paint over the Union Jack flag on the outside of the building. Let me get this straight. I want to hear from the Brits on this. It's a UK flag in London, and it's considered offensive. And they've been ordered to paint over it. So people in the UK, whatever group that may be, you tell me, have been ordered, they're offended. UK folks, I don't know, it can't be tourists, right? It has to be. I'd like to know what you think about that. We're going to talk about Dark Agenda and the Eclipse. Everybody keeps asking me to discuss an eclipse. There's 2 different types of events. There's events that actually do things, kind of like tornadoes and hurricanes. And then there's events that people wrap their mentalities around. And they create a self-fulfilling destiny. But this video is not specifically about the eclipse. I'd like to talk about it for a couple seconds here and why people are going kind of crazy over it. And by the way, there has been ordered the mobilization of National Guard on April the 8th eclipse. I don't know to what regions. If you give me more information on that, I've actually looked for that. There's not a whole lot of information, but mobilization of National Guard for eclipse, military forces. I'd like to know what you think about that. It's kind of a little bit peculiar. A lot of videos like this, when people talk about dark agendas, they're talking about names, and they're talking about naming names and organizations and etc. Most of us know who the major characters are in this Hydra dark agenda, but that's not the point here. I'd like to talk about the premise of what is and what they're trying to do, and non-compliance and a few other things that are actually critically important. By the way, on this eclipse, I know everybody keeps talking about that it makes an X across the country, and it kind of intersects in the far western regions of Kentucky and just the edge of Missouri there. For the first time in 215 years, that an eclipse is happening at the same time that a major swarm of cicadas are supposed to be released, and also to this is the 2024 eclipse on April the 8th is 6 years and 6 months and 6 weeks and 6 days since the 2017 eclipse, and since the since 20 the one from 2018 is 6 years from then too. So 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months, and that's from the 2017 eclipse that crossed the country from basically Oregon to South Carolina, and it's creating an X in far, far western Kentucky here where the actual cross occurs. And everybody's been asking me about this solar eclipse. And also too, between April 22nd through April the 30th, and I've actually heard conflicting things. Nobody can actually get any agreement to me on whether the red heifers that were purchased in Texas and brought over to Israel are going to be, just, it's a religious ceremony which I have absolutely no respect for. The red heifers are, being ceremoniously taken out people are actually saying the end of March this month through some first section of April, but also to I think the holiday, the religious holiday on April 22nd through the 30th of this year, which is, it's either in a few days or basically a month from now, between April 22nd to the 30th. There's a friend of mine that's actually in China right now, and she watches this person that's apparently been completely accurate. He doesn't speak English, and made a prediction that big things are going to happen sometime in April. A lot of people are thinking that. I know it's either going to happen both or either in April or October, November. You can probably guess why October, November. It could actually happen sooner than that. There's just this overwhelming zeitgeist of what's going on. I like to read from, this is redacted into the King James Version of the Bible. This is the 1599 Geneva Bible of Ephesians 6:12, and I know I'm quoting a religious text here, but there's quite a few things in these religious texts that are undeniable and true, and they're part of prophecy, and prophecy is disconnected from religion itself, which is secularized metaphysics, but it's adopted to and interwoven into these religious texts, but that doesn't mean that they're not true. You can't wholly discount, regardless of the ridiculousness of countless texts, the kernels and the seeds of truth that exist there within, many of which are prophetic. It says, for we wrestle not, this is, by the way, the version before the King James Version. In other words, the King James Version redacted this out. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, and against the worldly governors. That was redacted in the King James Version. Against worldly governors, these princes of darkness of the world, against spiritual wickedness, which are in high places. It literally is the case that today, and if you think this is conspiratorial, then you've had your head lodged in a very, very dark place for a very long time. An entity, I'm not going to name the entity, there's several, you could take your pick. And they think they know better than everybody else. They're spiritually hollow. They believe in a worldly power. They're zealots, and they have a lot of money, and they believe in power, except they're confusing one power for another. Worldly money and worldly power, and this cabal, this entity, which is force, which is not rest. You take your pick. God or the divine, of course, is rest, is peace. We have to ask ourselves the question of that which we learn. Does it teach worldly power, or does it actually teach rest and peace? Humans have, by their very nature, everything upside down and backwards. They worship what is false. They cling to and are attached to things which are false. People are amazed by force rather than rest. And it's amazing. Every human being on earth will identify force and attachment to it and awe of it and desire of it. But I literally can barely find a single person watching any of my videos that can tell you what rest is. Like, what do you mean by rest? It's like, well, that's the seat of power. That which you think is power is the dissipation of power, like these logs burning. Of course, this is fake on my LCD screen, but it's a video of a real fireplace. People consider that to be force and energy, but it's a dissipation. Of course, it's the burning of the wood. You can't keep that up unless you actually wreck your life constantly chopping wood, constantly feeding the fire. There is no rest there. There's perpetual force and perpetual agitation. These people that desire power, they are the pinnacle of spiritual and metaphysical ignorance, such that, and you can find this same premise said in a different way, because nothing is known except through the modality of the knower. In the writings of countless people, Jakob Böhme, Meister Eckhart, very, very specifically Swedenborg. I strongly recommend you download some of Swedenborg's works. There's a lot of free works of his that are out there. It's a cult of personality. These people fundamentally are spiritually hollow. They have a fear of death, and they serve evil, and they believe in worldly gods. they want dominion over us. This is something that I was kind of remiss to say in this video, but it's 100% certain and it's 100% undeniable. There's fundamentally, at least in the United States government, but this is kind of true all over the world in major governments, is that you have the government that people think is actually running their lives, and it's not. And then you have that which pulls the strings underneath it, two entities, technically three actually, which is the MIC, that's the military industrial complex. There genuinely is, by the way, a shadow government. Not only in the United States, there's another one that's based in Geneva. I'll let you guess what that is. And then we have this global hydra. They actually meet. We know the names of these meetings. I'm not going to mention the names of these meetings, like the builders, and then there's the Bergs. That's one of them. But that's not the only one. Pointing these people out and pointing out the meetings that they have and their organizations, you know, is important. But what's important is understanding, you know, the mechanics of what makes these people tick. They are hollow. They are empty. They are fundamentally cowards. We have to ask ourselves the dark agenda that these people are actually pushing, and there really is a dark agenda. It is literally happening. Once again, you really have to have your head lodged in a very dark place to not see that this is going on. I mean, you really do. By the way, a bunch of people send me this information. We've been talking, and so have I, about them trying to shut down farmers. They're targeting farmers. By the way, one thing that actually scares these people, I mean literally scares them at every level, because they are fundamentally cowards, is self-sufficiency. The idea that you're self-sufficient and you have your own water and you can grow your own food, and you don't rely upon these people for anything, including medical care or Medicaid, your 401k, on, and Social Security, on and on and on and on. This is the reason why, for the first time in my life, everybody's talking about the Amish. Now, they are a group of, I'm not going to use the word zealotry, but a religious group. But outside of separating the religion, this idea of complete self-sufficiency, you don't want anything for the government, I'll fix it. They have the same mentality that I do. They'll actually pick stuff up on the side of the road and fix it. You know, that us, common folk, will say, it's got a screw missing, and throw it in the curb there. We'll take it home and I bring stuff back from the curb all the time. This idea of absolute self-sufficiency. I don't want anything from the government. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to take care of myself. I want nothing to do with you. I want nothing to do with your agenda. Those people scare them. There's a reason why that guy up in Pennsylvania, his name's Amos Miller. I think that's his name. He's a Amish guy, and he's selling meat and cheese and milk and produce to all these people. And he's in court right now, and his defense says, call one person that's ever been harmed or gotten sick from this guy's meat, his poultry, his eggs, his food, his milk, his cheese. You can't find one. Find anybody that's complaining about this guy and his food and his wholesome, nobody. No, the government wants to shut him down. Anyway, they're actually targeting farmers in Oregon. They're reclassifying it such that even if you have a small garden and you use X amount of water, then you need a permit. They want to shut everybody down. They despise self-sufficiency. You and me and our families, we shouldn't be participating in this. We shouldn't fall sway to this nonsense. They want us to worship their talismans, which are flags and companies and company icons and iconoclasts of Hollywood. They lie. They shut down. They try to lock us down and shut us down. They can't debate the truth. Anybody, by the way, that is afraid of being exposed by speaking the truth is your fundamental adversary, and mine as well. If anybody is trying to shut you down, keep you from speaking the truth, not your truth or my truth, but the truth, it's like, no, you're wrong. That's just not true. You know, for example, they feed plants in greenhouses. They pump CO2 into the greenhouses, you know, to green them up. this idea of people all of a sudden being afraid of cow flatulence and, you know, the boogeyman around every corner. Well, don't worry, we'll take care of you. Just, we want you complete dependence upon us. You know, you take the stuff that we tell you to take and inject and eat our food and drink our processed water and just do everything that we say and believe it, you know, then you'll be okay, you'll be safe. And this is going on. There is a huge dark agenda. What's his face? There's a video, I was watching it. It was Prince, he looks like Mr. Burns from The Simpsons. You know, he holds his hands like a vulture. Prince Phillips. He was being interviewed later in his life, and I watched the video twice. And he says, yeah, what could you fix if you could fix anything, you know, in your remaining years here on Earth? Well, there's too many people. You could fix this. Too many people out there. Well, how do you propose we fix this too many people problem? Well, I'm sure you could figure out what I'm thinking. He said something to that effect. These people who have hollow souls, they can't do anything, they can't fix anything, and yet they want dominion over my life and your life. Please, for all that's holy, I tell you, for the sake of your own good, please wake up. Don't participate. Don't fall sway. Don't worship their talismans. They lie. They can't debate the truth. They censor you. They're cowards. Fundamentally, they do worship evil. These people are fundamentally that. The old Ephesians 6:12 verse, where we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and worldly governors. These people, in their own twisted way, are afraid of death. They think themselves worldly gods. They have tons of times to knit bizarre fabrics that are designed to wreck society and rebuild it in their own dystopian hellscape idea of what they think is good. You know, just, we're going to have AI and a handful of peons that are taking care of my yard, and we don't need that many people. Automation will take care of everything. And we could all live in the lap of luxury, you know, while we have a handful of peons. You know, we don't need too many people. We need to get rid of all these people that are self-sufficient and, you know, feeding themselves and watering themselves. And you need to get rid of these people that don't believe in Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, you know, the stuff that we tell them that they should take and consume. You know, these people are the enemy to them. Anything that is the enemy to them is that which is praiseworthy. I don't know if you know much about World War II, but there was an enormous amount of religious and iconoclastic zealotry that put human beings and human ideas in front of natural order, in front of God. You take the pick. This has been going on since time immemorial. I know a lot of so-called scientifically minded people that think this is the age of rational thought and quantum and all the rest of it. It's not true. The people that are wrecking this world, and they are wrecking it as fast as they possibly can, and if you can't see that, you're completely and utterly blind. They follow their own type of evil, dark agenda, which is a belief system. I've said to you many countless times the fundamental cancer of human society is beliefs. We are not our beliefs. These people have too much money and too much time on their hands and too much influence, and they use corporations to influence and sway society, and they've bought and paid for everybody. They're trying to buy up everybody's houses. I get 2 or 3 calls a day, most of which I ignore. You know, hey, when to sell your house? You ready to sell your house yet? You ready to sell your house yet? You ready yet? Are you ready to sell it yet? Hey, we're just calling you. Make sure you're ready yet? I even got something in the mail. Someone went really out of their way for my farm. He put in 2 business cards and this formal letter. I mean, somebody actually literally had to fold that and stick a real stamp on the side of it. Everybody's trying to jump in on that. They're trying to break everybody to the point where we're going to become renters. It's that old coal mining thing where, you know, you owe your soul to the company store, you get paid in phony baloney money, and what we got right now is phony baloney, but you could only spend it at the company store. If you worked really, really hard to the point of suffocation, you'd have just enough money to feed yourself and to pay for the dump that you lived in. And that's exactly what they want for everybody, the complete and total destruction of the middle class. You're either, you know, the intelligentsia of Hydra, and you're feeding that beast, which is a very small group, or you're the little peons that are taking care of the landscaping and the delivery and the building of widgets. But we're going to replace most of those people. We can get rid of them too, because AI is developing very fast, and robots are developing very, very fast. I've seen some amazing stuff that robots are doing now. And that is their dystopian future. Get rid of about 85% of everybody, and we'll take care of it. I hate the fact that this is going on. I despise the fact that people are actually falling sway under this zealotry, and it is. It's a rich person's cult. It is a cult of rich, evil, unskilled, spiritually hollow entities that have collectively developed a dark agenda. I'm not going to name their names. I'm not going to name their organizations. You already know who they are, and if you don't, you've had your head once again in a very dark place for a very long time. Yeah, there's too many people, Prince Philip says. What are the last things I wish I could do? And he's one of them. He was. He's not alive anymore. I'm sure he's in a nice, warm place right now. Hey, there's too many people. If I could do anything, I'd get, you know, you just get way too many people out there. If I could only take care of that problem, you know, that'll be the start of the solution. I know this is a long pause. I only actually have a few notes here. But all of this stuff is not corporate, but corporate is merged with this dark agenda that these people have. And they are, the next thing they're working on is farmers. I see it. There's countless evidences of it. Nobody in any of the mainstream, or I should call them lamestream news, are reporting on, you know, the endless tens of thousands of gigantic tractors owned by farmers that are converging on, you know, blocking points of government in France, the Netherlands, Deutschland, the Österreich, on and on and on. Nobody is reporting on that. They're trying to destroy them. And once you do that, all you have to do, that's what these people want. They want to bring you to your knees, eliminate out about 80% of those people that, you know, you got to get them on their knees first. If you can't wreak havoc on these people until you bring them to their knees. Urban pacification in the extreme by mega billionaires and a group with a very dark agenda. These groups exist. There's countless films of them collectively getting out of their Rolls Royces to meet in secret. And I can tell you what they're talking about. Well, how are we going to do it? And we're going to do this, and that's step number 1, step number 2. Are you going to do your part? Okay. You got that covered, Bill? Okay. You going to take care of that? Well, that will lead to this, and then we'll be able to collapse it faster. None of anything I said in this video is at all conspiratorial. This is going on in the world. People I know with serious money, good people, are making moves. I don't know what you mean serious money is. I shouldn't have said serious money. People that have put their money where their mouth is, that's what I should have said. I did the same thing. I've seen this coming for a long time. I sold everything I had that's not glued down. Cabin in the woods, I got a farm. My grandfather told me how to farm. Everything I need to be independent from these people. Well, they're not going to let you, Molan Labe, come and get it. Molan Labe, come and get it. My farm, my land, you can protest. It's not really your land, you pay property tax, it's not really. You can talk about that all you want. I see so much this year coming to a crescendo. Like one of those gigantic speed bumps. You ever hit one of those in your car? You didn't see it, and you're going like 30 miles an hour, and when you hit it, you know, your vehicle felt like it was ready to shatter apart into a million pieces. That speed bump's coming this year. It's not going to be the last speed bump, but it's going to be a big one. And it is coming. Just be aware and be like those meerkats that stand up on their legs looking around for the dangers. You know, those little meerkats in Africa. They stand up on their legs and they'll be back to back to back looking around in 4 or 5 of them looking around in a 360-degree circle. Most people are just, you know, they work, they go home, they're tired. You know, they pop a couple Advils and, you know, they watch some sort of garbage TV show and they go to sleep, rinse and repeat, completely oblivious to what's going on. And those people are going to get stung in the boo-boo, right back here. I'm like that too. I work 7 days a week. I don't have much free time at all to do anything I would like to do. But I'm not oblivious. I'm not going to get stung in the boo-boo when, you know, it happens. Be like some of those French people in World War II. They're literally like washing their dishes while the German tanks are rolling down the street. Wow, what is that noise, you know? Oh, they're rolling down the street. Oh my God. It's like, my neighbors warned me about that. I didn't think it was going to happen, but there it is. Anyway, tell me what you think. This is a late video for me. But I really wanted to make this video, and I love reading your comments. Have a good day. Hope you all are doing well.